Today was an explosive day, yet again, in markets as US GDP growth revised higher. The US economy expected an annualized 1.3% on quarter in Q1 2023, above 1.1% in the advanced estimate. Now, I want to show you guys something real quick that's quite fascinating about this news. So here we are on the gold chart, which absolutely plummeted on this news and had the strength to the downside to actually break out of our 1955 key level of support.
Red or green?
This level was green, now it is red. We had a huge sell-off on this off of GDP numbers. Why would this make sense? Well, if you think about gold and what it really is, it's a precious metal that is generally viewed as a safe haven in times of absolute fallout. Meaning specifically if there's periods of hyperinflation or economic collapse or shrinking GDP, sometimes we see gold benefit from that. But today we saw the opposite. GDP showed strength, and that strength made people say, hey, let's get out of gold and let's go into other things. Let's go into bonds, let's go into stocks, let's go into other things as the economy seems to be stronger than expected. Okay. This is really key for gold traders out there because I think short term this adds headwind for gold traders out there watching key resistance levels like 1955. Now, I'm not looking to short gold personally. This is just not a trade for me right now. I've not been trading a lot of DXY related things, the US dollar specific. I've just been kind of on the sidelines with all this debt ceiling stuff. There's just been other trades that I've liked more, which I will show you guys in this video as always. But for gold traders out there, watch this zone around 1955 to 1957, as this level could act as key resistance. As we drop down to the 1 hour chart, you can see what a notable breakout it was. So price came all the way underneath here, and now a retest of this area. In my personal opinion, I think you're going to struggle with this, as we do have probably a lot of sellers in this area looking to try and join this big news move, right? So oftentimes you get the big explosive move, pullback, and then the continuation. So we'll see if that materializes going into today. Now, I have to brag here for a second. I've got two winning trades on. One is a currency pair and one is an index trade that I took yesterday that exploded in my direction. So let me brag about that for just a second. Here is my NASDAQ trade, and you can see, let me see if I can move this a little bit so you can see it a little easier. Hold on. Okay, so here is the NASDAQ trade, and you can see it is just exploding off of this level of support that I picked it up on yesterday. And honestly, let me be quite frank with you guys. I've been on YouTube for a while. I've shared my wins. I've shared my losses. It's really nice to catch an incredible win. Cue the confetti. Boom. Yeah, it's great. It's here's the thing though. Not all my trades look like this, and I don't want to come across as that way because I don't get it right all the time. But this is a trade that I think I stuck to my rules and it just absolutely hit. Price tagged this area, and yesterday we got some news that really lifted the NASDAQ. Nvidia had an excellent quarter and forward guidance in terms of their demand for semiconductors. Of course, they're a chip making company. All of this AI craze has really benefited their company, and forward guidance looks really strong. Of course, the Qs, the NASDAQ, is a tech-related instrument or index that tracks a lot of tech stocks. They all traded up off of this, and of course, me as an index trader, I was able to catch a massive trade, floating at the time of making this around $2,800 in just a day and a half, which is a really crazy good trade for me. And I am proud of it. Of course, like I said, you guys see on my channel, I share my losses and stuff as well. Sometimes I'm right, sometimes I'm wrong, but this is a trade that went really, really well. My goal for this, as I mentioned on today's stream, Marco had a great question for me about how I plan to trail my stop on this. Check this out.
So what needs to happen for you to trail your stop right now, for you to move your stop loss?
Yes. So for me, what I like to do, so Marco, you made a point looking for, in a downtrend, you're looking for lower highs to form, right?
Yeah.
To trail a stop. What I struggle with is exactly the point you made. What do I do with my stop loss right now? Because if I toss it in here, I would be just kind of guessing where I think a lower high could form, right? Because in to your point there, what I kind of have to wait to see in terms of a point to trail a stop on this trade, I either need to see a higher low form, in which case I could perhaps, and higher low meaning it puts in a low and then it breaks through those highs yet again. That is what I personally, that's kind of what I deem a higher low confirmed. If that occurs, then I'm able to trail that stop behind it. But then the other scenario is that if it just explodes, as Miko was saying, we're testing that key zone. If it just breaks right through that, a break through that level, I'll probably just go ahead and assume that we should hold this structure. And if we don't, I don't know if I still like holding the trade anyways. So those are the two scenarios, either just a straight runaway trade in which I'm looking for a key zone to break and then I'm looking to trail behind it, or a higher low that I can kind of justify moving the stop on. So good, Marco, you've always got the great questions, man. That's a good question. So there you go, guys. That's the plan. Planning to trail stops if we do continue to see breaks to the upside. And for those of you guys who are not inside of our Discord channel, this is where I shared the trade. If you guys want to see all of the trades being taken by myself and by my team, here is what the NASDAQ trade looked like. I gave a full breakdown as to why I entered the trade, my stop loss, my placement of my entry, and of course the before and after charts are looking pretty good as we exploded higher here today. So if you guys want to see all the trades being taken by my team, here is how you can get access to the Discord. Right now at the top of the description, there is a link where you can chat with one of our support reps. So if you click that link at the top, it's going to open up something like this. And if you click this link in the description, it's going to open up and you can click tell me about your discounts if you want to join the VIP, or you can ask about the VIP trading signals if you have questions about it, or you want to hear more about it before joining. So again, join the Discord. It's been an incredible year so far, and I'm thinking we have plenty more good months ahead. So far, it is 5 months in. I've had 1 losing month and 4 profitable months this year. And I'll show you a screenshot here on the screen right now of my performance so far this year. It's been incredible, and I'm hoping to keep it up at the rate that it's going. We'll see if I can do that or not. But again, trading has been very good for me this year so far. Now back to some of the analysis. I mentioned that I also have a currency trade on, and I also called out Euro JPY, which is currently also in profit. So here is a 4-hour chart of a trade that I'm in on euro against the Japanese yen. So this is also one that I shared inside of the Discord. My idea behind this one is the COT data was big. So I'll show you the COT data really quick, just after I show the technical analysis. We were trading in a range, but overall in the context of an upward trend on the daily chart when looking at the euro crossed against the Japanese yen. Price pulled back to a key level of support, and I decided I would pick up a small entry of 86,000 units, which is 0.86 on a lot size. It's not very big. It's a small size, but it was because it was ahead of the FOMC meeting minutes. So I didn't want to take a big trade right before news. So I took a very small one with the plans of trying to trail stops. Even though euro yen is not a dollar related instrument, it can still be impacted by meeting minutes from the Fed just because the whole market gets jostled by those events at times. So anyways, I'm floating around $360 on this trade. What you'll notice is that my currency trades typically are a lot smaller than my index trades. Indices have always been my sweet spot. They're what I love to trade the most. The indices, and of course gold as well, which I trade on Webull. By the way, for those of you guys who are in the US who want to trade on the brokerage that I trade, it's called Webull. It's incredible. And down below in the description, there's actually a link that gets you free shares if you sign up for Webull using that link. So check it out, but it's for US people only. So I apologize for my international friends. This is the only brokerage that I know that I use personally and I really like. So it's a super awesome trading platform for US traders who want to trade gold and indices. Click that link down below. You get those free stocks when you do so. So goal for euro yen is to see if we can break higher. If it breaks higher, there is that possibility I may even look to add on this trade, and that could be interesting. So one other trade idea I want to discuss from a technical analysis perspective is the Australian dollar and New Zealand dollar. Marco and Miko joined me on today's live stream, and they both also liked this idea, but Miko really broke it down on the Australian dollar and New Zealand dollar especially. Check out his analysis. I really liked this, and I actually like those same trade setups that he discusses. Check this out.
I'm also looking at AUSD. This one recently ripped to the downside, taking out some key lows here on the left as well. And I think, again, from a long-term perspective, similar to pound Swiss, I think we're heading down to the prior lows here on the weekly chart. So now I'm just looking for the pullbacks to ride into the downside. I think this is more of an opportunity for next week because today's already Thursday. And again, I'm looking for those deeper pullbacks, as you mentioned just briefly there. I'm looking at this area here in particular. Got some really good confluence there, got good fib level there, possibly the next lower high coming to that trend line as well. So I'm looking to see if we can push back up, find some lower highs, and I'll look for my entry confirmation to short. But yeah, longer term for me, AU, I'm looking at 0.62. So any pullbacks I can see which are of good quality, fit my criteria, of course, I'll be looking to short them to the downside, and maybe even ends the USD as well. This one just about clearing some lows here, but I knew this one to push a little bit further. But they're very, very similar pairs, so I think ends the USD could be heading down to those lows too. So I'm going to keep a close eye for those pairs heading into the week ahead.
I like that. Well, I like both of those charts that you mentioned, the last two, NZD and AUD versus the dollar. One thing that I do like, and just fundamentally speaking about the New Zealand dollar for a moment, is that the RBNZ, they recently announced yet another rate hike this week, actually. But with that, they signaled that the rate hikes are done for New Zealand. And with that, when we talk monetary policy, even just on a high level, without getting too into the fundamentals, the concept of, hey, we're done rate hiking, yet there's still a possibility that the counterpart, the US, or perhaps, if you're looking at the UK especially, they're more on the side of, we need to keep raising rates to squash inflation. That is a macro driver to currency trades around the world. If you're paying attention to central banks, that is, you'll always notice that, red folders after red folders, whenever there is a interest rate decision, those are the things that are really underlyingly driving these charts. So I actually really like the fact that New Zealand has said, hey, we're not raising rates anymore, just took their currency and just went, see you later. Because rate hikes, as we know, are generally a bullish thing for the underlying currency. And so we've seen that trade kind of fall apart. And so I think you have, yes, a beautiful technical chart, right? A pullback to this area could look great, but you also have that fundamental catalyst that could be really strong as well. So I like New Zealand dollar myself as well on a pullback. And like you said, perhaps closer to next week, as a pullback is 120 pips away. So hey, guess what? I just found a video made just for you. Click this video to help with your trading, and thanks for watching.